Hey everyone, in this video we're taking a look at amortization, and in particular we'll be making an amortization table for this student loan situation that we have listed here. Amortization in general just means that you're paying down a debt over time by making the same payment repeatedly. And in this case we're making monthly payments on a $60,000 student loan at 6.25%, which is compounded monthly, and you've chosen a 10-year repayment plan. So I believe we've seen this particular loan before in the payout annuity video. So this number is 673.68. This is something that you would have to compute using the payout annuity formula, and you just solve for the payment, and that's what you get. So we're assuming that we've already solved for that. Okay, so an amortization table includes the following four pieces of information. You have a column that corresponds to the principal, the payment, the interest paid for that payment, and the principal paid for that payment. So the whole idea behind this is that each payment that you make, in this case 673.68, some of it goes toward the principal, so it pays down your balance, and some of it goes toward interest, which doesn't pay down your balance. That's just money that you give to whatever lender you have. And that's the interest that they get. That's the cost of the loan. So we want to fill out a few rows of this. If we were to fill out the whole table for this particular loan, we would have to fill out 12 monthly payments for 10 years. So it would actually have 120 rows. So we're not going to do that. But we will fill out just a few so that you get the feeling for how to make such a table. Okay, so we start out with our principal that we borrowed. That's $60,000. And our first monthly payment is $673.68. And in fact, this entire column will be the same throughout the whole chart because your payment doesn't change. So what we need to figure out next is, out of this payment, how much of it goes toward interest and how much goes toward principal. So I need to figure out how much interest is paid in the first month. So I'm going to go here to kind of a sub-problem, and I want to know how much interest did I actually pay, but just in the first month. Not over the entire course of the loan, just in the first month. And so we have to remember that this is a compound interest account. So I take my nominal rate and I chop it into however many compounding periods per year I have. So that's 0.0625 divided by 12, and then I apply that to the principal, and that's like my monthly interest. So I'll take my principal, 60,000, and I'll apply the monthly interest to it, which is 0.0625 over 12. And this is my interest that I apply to my principal. This is my interest that I get in the first month. So if you multiply this out, you end up getting $312.50. So this is the interest that we pay in the first month, because that is the interest, the monthly interest rate applied to the principal for that particular month. So we put $312.50 here. And that's how much of this payment goes toward interest. Therefore, the amount that goes toward principal is just the difference between these two. It's your payment, and then you take the interest out, and whatever is left goes toward principal. So here, I would take 673.68, and I would subtract 312.50. And whatever I get for this, that's the principal that I paid. So that turns out to be $361.18. Okay, so notice out of my payment, $673.68, $312.50 goes toward interest, and $361.18 goes toward principal. And these two numbers should add up to $673.68. So that's the first row. That's how much interest and principal get paid in the first month. Now for the second month, my principal has been reduced, because remember, some of my payment has gone towards principal. So my new principal is $60,000 minus what I paid in the last month. That's $361.18. And that comes out to be $59,638.82. That's my new principal for the second month. My payment stays the same, that's $673.68. And now the interest that I pay in the second month will be a little less, because to figure out the interest in the second month, I'm still going to apply the same monthly interest rate, 0.0625 over 12, but I'm multiplying it to this new principal, because some of the principal has disappeared from my last month's payment. So I take my principal for this month, $59,638.82, and I multiply my same monthly interest rate, 0.0625 over 12. And here I get $310.62. So that's how much interest that I pay in the second month. And then to get the principal, I take my payment, $673.68, and subtract the interest, $310.62, and that's what I get. So $673.68 minus $310.62, and that comes out to be $363.06. Okay, so I'm going to write the next row without all these equations in it. So again, my new principal is my last principal, $59,638.82, minus the principal that I paid from my last payment. And so when I subtract $363.06 from $59,638.82, I get $59,275.76. And then my payment stays the same, $673.68. And the interest that I pay in the third month, I compute in basically the same way. So I take my principal for this month, which is $59,275.76, and I multiply by 0.0625 over 12. And that turns out to be $308.73. And I realize you can't see that. Sorry about that. Okay, so all I did here was I took my principal in the third month and I multiplied it by the same monthly rate, and then I got $308.73. So here. And then finally the principal paid in the third month, that's the difference between my payment and my interest paid, and that turns out to be $364.95. So this is the first three rows of the what we call the amortization table for this particular loan. But remember, there are actually 120 rows in this full amortization table. In the very last row, your payment might be reduced a little bit, and it'll be almost all principal and not much interest. Because if you notice, as you go from one month to the next, the amount of interest that you pay reduces, and also the amount of principal that you pay increases. And so at the beginning of your loan, a lot of your payment goes toward interest, and as time goes on, a lot of your payment ends up going toward principal. So that's why a lot of people say that it saves you money to put extra money toward your loan. But that's kind of a topic for another day, although it is true. So that's how you make an amortization table.